Kani kedai ke Batisi TV, bat pidang pet ya ke kubur baman kasni, belawan rasa pi da ke rupa, ringkat bat ke Orange Nissan, lom sokpo near Fire Brigade Shillong.
New Nissan Kicks. Bookings open now.
Ka GBK Marai kalapan pau bakalong kapalapan kre ban mi no na ka jela Meghalaya lada ka sarkar jela kala shim da karai ban penkut no ya ka jingete kular ban IT penya ya ka jing shakri ya ki kali 108 ambulance hapo ka jela dangshen ka sarkar jela kala pentip bakala dep ai ya ka notice ban penkut no ya ka jing shakri jong ka GBK Marai lada kamla ban pentulun bha ya ka jing shakri jong ki kali 108 ambulance hapo ka arbnai ka Batisi TV ha ka jinge kren bat ukli nong penia jong ka GBK Marai ha po ka jela u Dipankar Chaudhary ha ka life way tarik urisau arjar khat khandai ulaya thu ba hadu menta ka company kampat yo ya kano ka notice na ka sarkar jela bat ula ongru ba ha ka way ka jinge lang bala khot da ka sarkar jela ula depen pau ba ka company ka long ka bakloi ban mi no lada ka sarkar ka shim ya karai Kajing syakri jong ka GBK Marai ban penya ya ki kali 108 ambulance kala deko hagani ke jela Meghalaya namar kajing ki jong ki nong tray field staff ki badan hapo ka shatri jong ka Meghalaya Emergency Management and Research Institute Workers Union lane ka memory wu kani kajing ki da kajing sange trikam kala dep ya shibanai kanti bat menta ki nong tray kala pelong sendon da kajing syak tangan ka ba klembo por ka bala sedang na do ka arpu pratrik urisau arjar khat khandai Uni ukli nong peniat ka GBK Marai ulaya thu namar ba ka jing tunjuk bor ha pedang ki bor peniat bat ka memory wu u Dipankar ula pentip bagi bor peniat kila dep syong jing lang haduk kendai sien bat barok ki nong tray ban penbek ya ki mat jing dawa jong ki nrei kini ki jing lang kim shim lapoi shano shanoro.
We are okay with mutual closure of the project prematurely on mutual consent. If that is in the interest of the state, in the interest of the people, we don't want that this should go on and, there is no emergency service in the state. So if closing this project prematurely on mutual consent and going out is a solution, we are okay with it. And we have informed this to the government, we are okay with it. Okay, so now government has to take a call, which they have said they will take immediate this thing. They have to, because when you have a contract between organization and government, there are a lot of legalities to it and all when you pre-close. So you have to take care of all those things before you come to a thing. So in the meantime, till decision is arrived at, we'll try our efforts, because we are here to provide the emergency service and put the ambulances up. So we'll try our efforts to put that up. Whether we succeed or not, that is a different story, but the try has to be here. And we also appeal through this to all the agitating employees to come back, because it cannot be my way or highway if you want to negotiate and come back. So we are still saying you come back and we can actually save the project, and about 250 jobs can be saved. This place has provided stable and secure job for the past 10 years. No one can complain till date that anyone has received a salary delayed. In the decade that we have been here, this is the 11th year, there are 4 instances when the salary was disbursed beyond 5th and before the 15th of the month. Otherwise, entire period, it has been disbursed on the 30th or the 1st of the month. And we know the situation, when we compare ourselves with other organization or even government department like MTCs, like deficit teacher, we know how long they have not received salary. We still receive OPEX fund. There's a 2-month delay, because if we complete September, by the time we get the September, we receive it late October. Like for example, now we have provided the service in September, we are yet to receive the OPEX funds. So we don't see, but September salary is already disbursed to everyone. So we don't wait even for funds to come to us. But yes, of course, it's a challenge, because as I have said, it is a not-for-profit organization. So beyond 2 months of operation, it is difficult for us to sustain without fund. But Meghalaya government has ensured that we get the funds within that time, and we have succeeded in sustaining this project without any delay in the salary and all. So we are thankful to all stakeholders, basically, whether it is state government, whether it is media, whether it's the citizen of the people, for giving us this opportunity, and we hope that we can continue. That is, we live with a hope, and we hope this comes to an end. The strikes have started from midnight of 30th September. Okay, so effectively it's 1st October. So for the past 1 month, we have seen, yes, calls, we are registering calls, but the calls are reducing. We have seen a statement in the paper where the union members have claimed that we receive 5,000 emergency calls every day. If we receive 5,000 emergency calls every day, we would have been in competition with any state, okay, in the country. We are the worst performing state when it comes to Meghalaya. In the last 10 years, we have been unable to, cross the figure 1.1 to 1.2 cases per day per ambulance, which means on an average, we handle about 45 to 50 cases a day. Okay, now out of the 45 to 50 cases a day, about 25, 30 cases are taken by Shillong and the surrounding of Shillong, like Smith, Pomblum, Mawphlang, these Umiam, So if we take away 7 ambulances which are catering to these areas, from the 43 ambulances, we are left about 36 ambulances for the entire state. Now the 36 ambulances amongst them take 20 cases a day. That is where the load factor is not there, and that is why people can sit and take cases at a stretch in the rural areas. Means can do a duty for 6 days continuously and complete their 12 shifts. That is where the adjustment is happening. In Shillong, where they have 4 or 5 cases every day per ambulance, they are not able to do beyond 12-hour shift. They don't do beyond 12-hour shift, which is the requirement for the organization. Right? So, having said that, if you compare Meghalaya with the other states, or even going closer, if you take the terrain into consideration and take places like Uttarakhand and Himachal and compare our state with that, those states which have a difficult terrain than even Meghalaya, okay, there we start our KMPL, that is the mileage of the vehicle, at 12. The average mileage that we get is 12. And Shillong in Meghalaya, we are unable to cross even 8. We are hovering at 8. Okay, so that average of 4 kilometers that we are losing, even if we compare to, forget about metro cities, even if we compare with Himachal and Uttarakhand, we are losing a substantial amount which government does not pay to us extra. That has to be, taken care of from the OPEX cost which is being received at the fixed rate. Similarly, if you take the repair and maintenance cost, okay, the repair and maintenance cost across all operating states in India, our average is about 5,500 rupees. That is the national average. That is the national average. Now in Meghalaya, for repair and maintenance, we are at 8,000 rupees per ambulance per month. Okay, so that is what we are spending. That is the extra money. So obviously there are many factors to it why we are spending so much. In fuel, if mileage we say, we can say that, okay, one can be condition. I am not denying condition of the ambulance because they are old, yes. B2, it can be the skills, because driving skills impact on the mileage. 3, it can be pilferage, whether it is from whichever side, whether it is from our employee side or from the fuel bunks that we refill the fuel from. It can be either. Because of that, we have seen this pilferage thing, where you have that. Even for our own vehicles, when we go, different pumps we see for the same amount, we get different amount of fuel. Okay, so we have moved on to a fuel card that we are now using, okay, which sends us an alert and all that immediately on refueling of what amount, what quantity has gone. Okay, so that is one. Similarly, in repair maintenance, why we are spending high is the infrastructure that we have presently in Shillong. We have to depend so much on Assam. because we don't have skill workshops or garages, and we have to depend on whatever we have. In rural areas you don't even have workshops, so we have to travel all the way, also in some cases to Shillong to repair, or from Tura to Goalpara, Garo hillside to Goalpara, to different authorized workshops for repairs and maintenance. That is one. Second is, again I come back, that it is a skill. This our pilots and all, they undergo a training base because of all that thing. They are taught all that thing. So you need to follow certain protocols, do daily checks and all. If you don't do, obviously, if there is a small repair, it can turn into a cancer if you have not checked your vehicle for long.
Hagajuk apor uniu kli nong penya jong GVK EMRI ulapan syairu halor ki laipun riu teli ki mat jing dawa baki nong tre ki labu hagabah nyau teli ki mat ki don hapo ka jing bisyar jong sorkar ban shimrai riu teli ki mat ki dei ki bemla satia ban ye keren penbek namar ki hap hapo ka service rule.
The basic demands were with the salary, with the working condition. Now see, we are a private organization. We do not, even government departments do not have quarter facilities. So we don't have any quarter facilities. We cannot even have land in this place, to build quarters. How can we? So it is a support which is required from the government, and government was good enough to provide us with at least one room in all locations that we have set up the bases. Okay, so that one room has been used as the base and the quarter for the people who are staying. Now they stay. See, the second thing is that there is a lot of confusion, like what is the working hours, etc., etc. Okay, as of now, the company requirement is that everyone works for a 12-hour shift. Like you have in hospital, the nurses working, the doctors working, all work on a 12-hour shift for a single day for 24 days in a month. That is the requirement. Beyond that, you don't work. Beyond that, it is the headache of the organization whether they can maintain the SLA set by the government or for uptime. If we cannot achieve that SLA for uptime, it will be a deduction on the OPEX cost, which the organization will take a hit. It has got nothing to do with the employees. Okay, they don't take a hit on the salary. They are supposed to do 24 shifts, and you get paid for 24 shifts in a month at the rate of 12 hours per shift. The salary is calculated basis 12 hours. Okay, so their demand of 8 hours, that is also okay. If they give it in writing, then the salary will be calculated basis 8 hours and not 12 hours. So obviously there will be a salary cut. Now there is no agreement to it, So
but they are saying like they are not getting paid for the overtime,
See, anything beyond 24 shift is overtime, right? The salary currently, as I have told, is worked on the basis of 12 hours and being paid on the basis of 12 hours a day, right? Now, this has been checked by the labor, because they were also involved in the high level committee, and they have okayed all the calculations, right? The working also, there is adjustment in the field by the employees. The requirement is that we do 12 hours a shift for 24 days, but they do at a stretch, which is like 6 days they cover 12 shifts, another 6 days they cover 12 shifts. So basically working 12 days in a month, they complete their entire shifts, and then 18 days they're off. Because we are working on a manpower ratio of 2.5, which means you have 2 fixed employees in a base, and the 0.5 is a reliever who covers 2 bases. So if you have 2 EMTs and 2 pilots, that is drivers, in a base, so each of them are supposed to do 12 shifts, means 12 days for 12 shifts, 12-hour shift, 12 days, each of them. So 2% does 24 days, 12-hour shift, and balance 6 days in the month, that is covered by the reliever. So when he covers 2 bases, he does 6 plus 6, that is 12 days. So 12 days into 12 hours is 24 shift. They had raised the demand of a 100% hike in the high level committee of the current salary, and subsequently a 30% hike every year. So when we are getting a 3% hike a year, 3.7% hike, it is not possible for us to roll out 100% hike without the support of the government. Whether it is 100%, whether it is 50% or 25%, whatever the agreement is. So we cannot do that. Okay, so we have informed the government also in the high level committee, it is not possible for us to implement the 100%. So they have taken their demand, they have taken our side of the story, and it is then that the high level committee would have submitted, had they concluded everything, had the meetings gone on without any walkouts and all, probably they would have submitted some suggestions, some direction to the government within the report they were supposed to give, which would have seen, some actions being taken. Now it is not possible for us to roll out the 100% hike, as I have said, without any support from the government. Similarly, it is not possible for us to replace the ambulances without the support of the government. What could be done? That we have already discussed the 17 points, okay, and we have given also, we have accepted some suggestion also which came from the union members, from the government side in the high level committee, and we said, yeah, okay, we'll accommodate that. Like for example, one suggestion was that stick to Garo Hills side people being posted in Garo Hills, okay, and Khasi Hills being posted in Khasi Hills. We said yes, we'll stick as much as we can. Now also we are doing that. 90% of posting also is based on the home address, but we cannot guarantee if we don't get the people from there. It is not always that we can get, if we require 50 people, that there is a guarantee that you will get 50 people from Garo Hills.
Halor ke jingkeno ba penon kam baklaya ke song pisa ka ba silak sau punyo hajar balamang dak sarkar sa kawai pakawai ka kali ambulance ki badan baro sau pu pratli udi pangkar ula ong ba ka company ka yo arjat ki song pisa na ka sarkar kawai ka dai ka Capex fund bat kawai pat ka dai ka Apex fund.
Misinformation going around when it comes to the cost factor also. There has been this 1,47,000 doing rounds across, saying that the organization is getting 1,47,000 for the repair and maintenance of the ambulances. Had we got 1,47,000 for the repair and maintenance of the ambulances, each of the ambulance would have been new. We cannot, just speculate on things what we are getting. Yes, we are getting 1,47,000. Yes, we are working on a tender mode from 2016. Tender mode means we are working on a fixed term basis. There are two components to the funding. One is the OPEX cost, which is the operational cost. And that operational cost is fixed as per the tender rate. And it is subject to increment as per the WPI, which is wholesale price index. And we have seen that since we started on tender mode in 2016, the first incremental in the operational cost was in the year 2017, April. Second was 2018. Third is 2019. Now 2019 we are yet to receive from the government. 2017 and 2018 we have received in 2019. And that also we have seen for those 2 years plus the current year where we have given the proposal as per the WPI, the incremental rise in the operational cost has been 3.7% on an average per year. It is 3.6, 3.8, 3.7 that way. So if you take, it is average 3.7%. Despite that, the organization, even this is a not-for-profit organization where we, don't work for the profit. It is not a money-making project. This is a people service. So, despite getting a 7% increment in the first 2 years, we have still offered a rise of a hike to the employees by 10%, which the general members or the employees, they were happy with it when we addressed them. And this was on 1st of October. But the leaders, they said, no, we'll have a meeting and we'll discuss, we'll let you know. Officially, they have not let us know anything. The next day they went to the media and they said they reject that. Okay, so when we were working prior to the tender mode of operation, we were working on a actual basis, which is on a nomination basis. So it was a quarterly audit, and basis the actual expenditure of the project and budgeted expenditure, government used to support. So that time we used to go to the government and say, ask for 10% hike, which is the average hike we used to roll out. For 9 years we have rolled that out. Okay, we are in the 11th year of operation. So 9 years it has been rolled out, and it is on approval and release from the government. That time we have rolled out, because this was at actuals. So whatever the actual cost is, they used to roll out that to us. Okay, now in fixed rate, there is no question of going back to them. When the government is, when we as an organization are getting say 100 rupees, we cannot dole out 120 rupees. It's not possible. This is not for profit. Okay, and this 147 which we get as of today in the old rate of last year, where we got this rate 147, this is a total operational cost which covers the entire salary of this operation in Meghalaya, which amounts to about 50 to 55%, including the statutory payments. Statutory payments are like ESI, gratuity, PF, insurance cover. All that works up to about 55%. The fuel cost is about 15%. The repair maintenance cost is about 6%. There is a facility management cost. There is a IT support cost which we have to pay to Tech Mahindra, etc. The other companies, all that we have to pay. So basically we are actually working cost to cost. Despite that, we still have gone and offered that 10%, which they have rejected. Okay, so this 147, let me clarify once again, is not repair and maintenance cost. Okay, it involves the entire operational cost, including the salary. Other component is capex cost, we say, which is capital expenditure. Now, capital expenditure covers basically any replacement of any capital expenditure, that is any replacement of ambulances, any replacement of the equipment, any IT upgradation, all that involves capital expenditure. That is a separate which is released as required, and if there is fund with the government and if there is an approval to it. Okay, now we have a replacement policy for the ambulances, which is either 5 years or 2 lakh kilometers, whichever comes first. So basis that there is a aging of ambulances. The last capex cost we have got from the government is in 2015, where we replaced 15 ambulances. Thereafter we have not got. So in a fleet of 48 ambulances, as on date, we have sent proposals to government, which is since 2016, for replacement of 31 ambulances, which needs. Similarly, there are about this IT, which needs an upgradation. It has already crossed its life of 10 years, and we depend on that. Okay, so that proposal is also pending, and we have to understand the challenges that the government has currently when it comes to financial crunch in the state. Everyone is talking about it.
Halor ke jing kenok babun ki kali ambulance ki la kongreng balarim ki balabu jing mai ki field staff ban lai ai ke jing sakri yo pai ba udipangkar ula pentip ba ka sarkar jela kala de bujli hado arsen arwat ya ki kali ambulance ban menta kala pha biang ya ki MVI bakin khmi bnia ya ki kali ban pentikina ba ya ki bam longshu on sa shu set no.
Proposal is roughly about one ambulance after fabrication, because you don't get ambulance per se ambulance. So we have to see what type of ambulance we need for this place. Like last time we had gone for Trax. Why Trax? It's a smaller version of vehicle which is easily approachable in the narrow roads in the villages, etc. And we had taken that. So it depends on what type. Now we are using 3 types. We have a force motor large ambulance, we have a winger large ambulance, we have a Trax, which is a smaller version, but lengthwise everything is the same. It's a fabricated. So ambulances are purchased through national tender, and approximately it will cost around 15 lakhs per ambulance. Okay, so basis that, and depending on the stretchers, etc., medical equipment, they have all crossed a life of 10 years. So of course everything has a life. Okay, of course they need replacement. We agree to that. Okay, and we have taken this up with the government, but we cannot go and purchase unless the fund is released to us. Right? So certain things we can repair to a certain extent, and after that it becomes beyond economic repair. Right? We cannot repair those. So yes, now if you see, we have 48 ambulances on road. which includes 5 backup ambulances. We have 43 locations and 5 backup ambulances. That is, when there is a breakdown, these 5 ambulances cover that location. Because we work on a SLA. When we work on a tender mode, there is SLA, service level agreement. So we have to match those service level agreement in order to get the funds released for operational cost. If there is any deviation in the, we don't match the targets set by the government, then there is a penalty to it. Okay, so we have always seen, whenever media covers, they cover the back row of the ambulances which is parked down here. Back row of the ambulances are about 17-18 ambulances which has already been replaced over the since 2010. Okay, in phases it has been replaced and it has been handed over to the government. We have got nothing to do with that. Those are all replaced ambulances. The newer ambulances, if you see, go down, there are about 38 ambulances which are on road, which is here at present. There are about 3 ambulances in the workshop undergoing repair as on day of the strike. Okay, so, and we have about 6 ambulances which have not come this side. They are still in Garo Hills. And there is 1 ambulance which is in Pomlum. They have not brought because they are not a part of the union. They are not striking and they have stayed there. Okay, but out of fear, the people are not able to take the cases. We have asked and requested government now. We will try our efforts to put these ambulances up, but then we have to take care of the security aspect also, because these are government property. We don't want any damage. We don't want anyone being thrashed. The people who are willing to go and take case and attend to emergencies, we don't want any security issue for them. So we have requested, and if all that support is received, we will put the ambulances up, whichever we are able to. Okay, having said that, we have even come across a lot of reports where it has been alleged that it is the management who broke the status quo. Right now, the status quo has come because if you remember, the first strike was on 19th of July, and on 22nd of July, Honorable Health Minister, he called for a meeting with the high officials of the government, with us, with the union members. Okay. So in that meeting, he heard both sides of the story, and then he had given direction that can a status quo be maintained, and I am constituting a high level committee to look into the issues. And the high level committee, after the findings, they will submit a report to the government and accordingly will move. So in that meeting, the union members had asked what is the time frame. So Health Minister was very categorical. He said we'll try and do as soon as possible. It may take 15 days, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, but let's see. First let's start and then we'll see. Okay. So that was what his commitment was, and that was what he has later on also given a bite in the media. And he asked the union members to maintain a status quo by going back, withdrawing the strike, going back into and withdrawing all types of agitation, going back into the service, closing all cases, because all these cases are medical legal cases that we are handling. So it has got a medical legal protocol to it, which they were violating. Because tomorrow we have, handled case and we don't have the details and the reports to it. Tomorrow there is some case, a PIL filed by someone to claim something, or there is a death, and there are inquiries which we have faced, police coming here for inquiries of unnatural deaths, etc., etc. Because we are handling all types of cases, including accidents, suicide cases, etc. So, this medical legal protocol has to be respected, and all cases need to be closed. So thereafter they have started closing the cases. We still have pending cases because there were close to about 7,500 cases which remain unclosed. Okay. Then they were requested to get back into normal service and go for the trainings, because see, this is a service which is changing every day. You have different medical protocols coming in, and therefore the associates who are working, they are working with human life in the ambulances, so their skills have to be validated. Every 6 months it has to be validated. There are 2 refresher trainings till date. Other than the non-union members, which is about 20-25 people, no one else has come and attended the refresher training, despite the fact health minister giving that direction to go and attend the refresher trainings also, and not compromise with the service. So, they have not come. It is like driving a vehicle without a license when you don't come and validate your skills. So it is like compromising with the service that we are providing. Okay. So, and for our side, they have asked us, okay, from this date, you are not going to issue any disciplinary action, no show cause, no termination, and no transfer. And we have maintained that. And as a this thing, we would like to say also here that since July 22nd till September, which is about 2.5 months, close to about 2.5 month time, we have seen more than 1,000 cases being denied. And we have a recording of the denials for each. We know the name of the person who has denied the case and the reason as to why they have denied the case. And it is not for reasons of technical failure of ambulances or repair and maintenance costs or manpower not being there. It is not because of that. It is because we, taking advantage of status quo, the denials have happened. It is very clear from the recordings and all. And we have shared this with the government also, which means, we have not been able to action because we were tied with the status quo. We did not action anything on the employees, even for denial of cases. Now, denying 1,000 cases over a period of 2.5 months is something which is not right. So we are seeing compromise with the service which we have held it so close to our heart to serve the people of the state.
Halor ke jing dawa ban pen kiau no ya katulap ude pangkar ula pentip badang ha ka siterik uyayong ka company kala terwa ban pen kiau hadu shipau na ka sispa ya katulap bat pentip ru syaga union bat syaga sorkar ba kamla satia ban pen kiau palat ya kata nrei ki nong tray field staff kila kentai bat yang scam halor ke jing dawa ban pen kiau tulap hadu sispa na ka sispa.
Now we got to understand the mode of operation of this project. Okay, now we have addressed about 17 points, which where there was some agreement, some room for improvement, and subsequently the same thing happened when a high-level committee also addressed that. In the first meeting there were about 15 points which were discussed, and there were agreement in some. There was some room for improvement, which was even told by the Secretary Health in his briefings. And it was mandated, and it was, objections were taken, and after there was no objection on the minutes of the first meeting, which was held on 25th of July by the high-level committee, the minutes were circulated, right? And the second meeting happened on the 5th of August, where, the first meeting minutes were discussed and closed, and then the secretary wanted to go ahead with the other points, where the union members said they don't want to discuss about it, and they walked out on the basis that they said that salaries were deducted. We don't call it salary deduction, it is no work, no pay. On the principle of no work, no pay, we have that 2 days when there was no service, that payment was not made for those days in the salary. Otherwise, if you see, there are some members of the union who have not worked for close to about 2 months. How do you expect us to pay that? They were in the media, they were taking up an issue of 5,000 being deducted from one person. The 5,000 is not of 2 days strike. It is other than the strike days, when in fact that person on strike day was on off, where he has been paid because he was on his off days. So he was paid for that, but the deduction happened for him not reporting for duty for other days and without any information or without taking any leave. Having said that the points which were discussed, 17 points, there was some agreement when we had addressed them. Balance about 7 points, we need the support of the government. Okay? And there are about another 6 points which are non-negotiable, because that is in line with the service rule of the organization. And service rule is uniform across the 16 states that we are operating, or in Sri Lanka that we are operating. It is same across. So if it changes, it will change for the entire nation where we are operating, the entire states where we are operating. It cannot change for one particular reason or one particular place. Process is, if we want to run this operation will never be successful. It has got a lot of nitty-gritty into it. There are a lot of things, the IT support, the technological interventions, everything is there. We have all the ambulances which are actually have GPS tracking on them. So we know from each point to each point which ambulance is going, all that things, right? So these technological interventions has assured that it is a service which is impactful, which has served with efficiency. So there are certain things where there cannot be compromise on it. Then you are compromising with the service.